Hi and welcome back. In this video I want to show you how to use an image as the background for your page. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up the completed version of our website here, and you can see I'm using an image for my background. Now the first thing obviously you need to do in order to use an image as a background on a page is define the image that you wish to use. I would recommend that you find the largest image that you can. At a very minimum, the image should be 1280 pixels wide by 1024 pixels tall. And I usually recommend that people go out from there to actually 1920 by 1080. That way the largest monitors, which are really used right now, which are generally 24-inch monitors, will see the full background image without any space on the left or the right. But in any case, the first thing you need to do is actually find the image. Now, after I found the image that I wanted to use for the background, I also brought that image into Photoshop and altered it a little bit. In this case, I lowered the brightness on the image to sort of fade it out a little bit, and I also applied this sepia tone effect to it. So the first step is to find the image and then process it in Photoshop or Fireworks to make it look the way you want your image to look. And then you're going to go ahead and save that image into the images folder of your site. So let's go ahead. I'm going to come back in here to Dreamweaver, and I'm going to go into Files here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and open up my style sheet. And all you need to apply that background image to your page is a couple lines of CSS. So I'm going to go into my styles.css sheet here, and you can see my code, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here, and whoops, I went too far. I'm looking for the body tag. There we go, right there. Now again, we're using just a background color here. And I'm actually going to leave that background color in place, because if somebody does come to my site and has a larger monitor than larger monitor resolution, I should say, than the image I've chosen, I don't want them to see white space on either side of the image. I want them actually to have that color fill in. But again, in my case, I'm using a large image, so that's not very likely to happen. And I'm going to go ahead and click at the end of that statement, just hit enter to bring myself down to a new line and tab over. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to bring up the background image property. The background image property. And when I do that, you're going to get your Dreamweaver help here. And I'm going to select browse, and I'm just going to go find the image that I saved into my site. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm in my images folder right now. And there is my background image right there. And again, this is 1280 by 960. You may want to find something that's a little bit larger. And then I'm going to go ahead and click OK here. And it placed that in there. I'm going to go ahead and put a semicolon on the end of that and hit enter. And I need to add one more property, and that's the background repeat property. Now, what background repeat property will allow you to do is to control the tiling of the background image. And you've seen background images or background patterns probably used on websites before, where it's very obvious that there's tiling going on. And you can choose to repeat the image either normally by choosing repeat, repeat only along the X or the horizontal axis, repeat only along the Y or vertical axis, or you can say no repeat at all. I don't want it to tile. And in the case of this background image, I don't want it to tile, so I'm going to select no repeat there. One final property that we're actually not going to use here, but that I'll mention at this point, is the background attachment property. And the background attachment property, basically what that allows you to do is either fix the background or allow the background to scroll up and down with your design. In the case of what we did in our sample design, the image scrolls up and down with our content. Let me go ahead and show you that to you really quickly here. Let me go ahead and bring up our site, and you can see the background image here. As I scroll up and down, you're going to see that the image scrolls with the actual page design. If I want that to be the effect, I actually don't need to use the background attachment property. What I do need to use the background attachment property for is if I want to fix the background image, if I don't want it to scroll up and down. And in that case, I would select fixed. And actually, I am going to go ahead and choose that there just so you can see the difference between the two. So we've gone ahead and we've said we should use this image as the background for our page. We've said don't repeat the image, just fill in with background color if there's not enough space, or if there's not enough image to fill all the space. And in this case, we've said fix the background, don't scroll it with the page content. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And again, I've done all this in my style sheet. And now I'm going to go ahead and bring up my home page here, my index.html page, and let's see how that's working. Go ahead and open that up, and I'm going to go into design view here, and I'm going to go into live view, and there is my background image. And you can see, actually you can't see it really well right now, but you can see that it's not moving as I'm scrolling. So that's that background attachment property. And again, if I bring up our finished version, you'll see that this background does scroll up and down. And again, it's kind of hard to see this here in design view, but you get the point of what's going on there. And you can just simply take that off and on, that background attachment property off and on, to see how the effect varies. So that in a nutshell is how you use a background image as the background for your pages. Thanks for watching.